For years, fans only guessed what really happened behind Eric Clapton's most famous songs, especially Layla and Wonderful Tonight. These weren't just hits, they were cries from a broken heart. And the woman behind that heartbreak, Pattie Boyd, the same woman who was once married to George Harrison of The Beatles. But now, at 80, Clapton isn't holding back anymore. In a quiet interview surrounded by old guitars and memories, he finally opened up, and what he revealed shocked even his closest fans. Clapton said, "I was obsessed, not in love, obsessed, there's a difference." People always thought Layla was romantic, a man so in love he wrote a whole album for her. But the truth, Clapton was spiraling. He admitted that during the time he wrote Layla, he was drinking heavily, using heroin and calling Pattie almost every night, even while she was still married to George. "I thought I needed her to live," he said, "but it was more about wanting what I couldn't have." Back then, the music world was buzzing. George Harrison knew Clapton was in love with Pattie. Strangely, he didn't fight it. "If she loves you more, she'll go," George once told Clapton. "If not, she'll stay." And for a while, she stayed, but that didn't stop Clapton. He confessed he even showed up at Harrison's house one night, drunk and out of control, demanding to see her. "I humiliated myself," Clapton said. "This wasn't the love story people thought it was. It was something darker, but it was only the beginning." When she finally left George, the world was stunned when Pattie Boyd finally left George Harrison in the mid-70s. It was like a rock and roll soap opera. A Beatle lost his wife to his best friend. Clapton thought he'd won. The years of pain, longing, songs, and obsession had finally paid off. Pattie was his. But reality hit harder than any heartbreak. He admitted, "The fantasy I had built didn't match the life I ended up living with her. At first it was sweet. They were two famous people trying to be normal. Clapton even wrote Wonderful Tonight while she was getting ready for a party. But even then, the cracks were showing. I wrote that song watching her try on dresses," he said. "She looked beautiful, but inside I was restless." Clapton couldn't stop drinking. His addiction worsened. The attention he once gave Pattie was now pointed toward the bottle and other women. He even admitted to cheating. "I didn't know how to love someone," he said. "I only knew how to chase them." Pattie tried to help. She stayed for years, but the man who had once begged for her love had turned cold and distant. The same love story that inspired Layla was falling apart in silence. Still, neither of them told the world the truth, not until now. The collapse nobody saw coming. They were the rock world's golden couple, but behind closed doors it was getting worse. Clapton confessed, "I hit rock bottom while I was married to Pattie. I thought getting her would fix me. It didn't." Pattie Boyd, in her own interviews, later said she felt invisible. "I was with a man who wanted me so badly," she said, "but once he had me, he didn't know what to do with me." Clapton was drowning in addiction. He was playing shows while completely drunk. Sometimes he wouldn't come home for days, and when he did, the silence between them was deafening. One night, after a brutal argument, Clapton smashed one of his guitars. That was the moment Pattie knew it was over. "I had become what I swore I'd never be," Clapton said, "a man who hurt the woman he once adored." In 1989, they divorced quietly. No dramatic headlines, no public fights, just a sad ending to what once felt like a legendary love. But the songs, they remained. Layla, Bell Bottom Blues, Wonderful Tonight, all echoes of a dream that couldn't survive the real world. So why did Clapton wait until now, at 80, to speak up? Because he finally understood what it all meant, and he had one more thing to say. The final confession. Now, sitting in a quiet room surrounded by memories and regrets, Clapton's voice grew softer. "At this age, I don't want people to think I was some romantic hero," he said. "I was broken, and I broke others too." Fans had worshipped his love story for decades. They called it legendary. They saw him as the man who fought for love and won. But in truth, Clapton admitted it was never about love. It was about obsession, escape, and pain. He said he used music to cover the chaos. Each song was a confession he never dared to speak out loud. But now he wanted people to hear it. "I hurt Pattie, she didn't deserve that," he said. "She loved me, but I wasn't ready to be loved." He admitted he never said sorry the way he should have, and that guilt stayed with him, even now. "I still dream about her sometimes," he whispered. "Not because I want her back, but because I want to go back and be better." And Pattie, in recent years, she has spoken with calm grace about it all. She said Clapton was two people. One was sweet and gentle, the other was lost in darkness. But she never hated him. I think he loved me the only way he knew how, she once said, and I loved him too, even when it hurts. Now, decades later, they are both older, wiser, quieter. The fire between them is long gone, but the music still plays. And every time Layla or Wonderful Tonight comes on the radio, a whole generation remembers a love story that felt like a movie, even though in real life it was filled with pain. At 80, Clapton isn't chasing ghosts anymore. He's telling the truth, not for fame, not for forgiveness, just for peace. And as the interview ended, he smiled, not with pride, but with release. I finally understand, he said. Love isn't about having someone, it's about honoring them. And maybe, just maybe, that's the lesson we were meant to learn from the songs all along. What the songs really meant. For decades, fans thought they knew the meaning behind Clapton's biggest hits. But after his final confession, the songs take on a new meaning. Layla isn't just a love song, it's a cry for help from a man falling apart. Clapton admitted that writing it was like bleeding on paper. It wasn't about love, he said, it was about desperation. Bell Bottom Blues, that was written when Pattie rejected him again and again. He poured his frustration into lyrics, hoping she'd hear them and come running. And Wonderful Tonight, that sweet, gentle ballad, it wasn't written in a moment of deep love, but rather during a time when Clapton was trying to act like everything was okay when it was. Fans still sing along, unaware of the pain behind the words. But that's the power of music, Clapton said. It hides things, it dresses up the truth. Looking back, he doesn't hate the songs. He honors them now, but with full understanding. They were markers of a time he never wants to relive. In the end, Clapton didn't get the fairytale ending with Pattie Boyd, but maybe the real story is more powerful. Two people, wrapped in fame, music, and heartbreak, trying to love each other in the middle of a storm. Now, as Clapton enters the twilight of his life, he finally lets go. I don't want to be remembered for who I chased, he said. I want to be remembered for who I became after losing her. And with that, Eric Clapton, the man behind the guitar, the voice behind the heartbreak, quietly walks away from the story that followed him for over 50 years. But the songs, they'll never leave, because they are not just about love lost, they are about what it means to be human.